Away we go. So, hello everyone. Kenyon here, Basketball Rewind. I am here. I'm joined by Coach Roach. We are going to um, essentially be going through. Sorry, I just ate, folks. But we are essentially going to be going through a delicious meal. A bunch of different things because it is the day before the draft, and we want to cover as much as possible as we kind of meander our way through this. And of course, if trades happen, which a trade already has happened. So we will. It's kind of broken news, but we will definitely be talking about it. We will make our way through, and we'll go as long as possible until we're blue or red in the face, whichever suffices. Coach, how are you doing before we really start off this stuff?
Doing well. Excited for the draft tomorrow night. It's always a good time. I think we're in a spot too that I think we're at the end of that tier of players from like 10 to 21 or 22. We're right at the end of it. So, uh, unless there's some
Yes,
kind of surprises that we're not aware of, I think we'll hopefully get a decent player tomorrow.
I think so, and I think that this draft is shaping up to be a pretty good one. It's exciting. It's one of those ones where, because of where the Raptors are, um, they are lucky because they will have in this specific draft a lot of choices, a lot of options that they can kind of turn to and consider for who they're going to select. And there are tiers definitely in this draft, but I think that they are in and around the end of another tier, but with a lot of different options. Because there's a lot of guards in this draft, not a lot of forwards. What you're going to see is some of these guys may drop. So there's like a selection of bigs, and then there's a selection of of guards, and they're kind of all bunched up into the same kind of range. Um, and that will allow us to, depending on the direction that the Raptors want to move towards, they will have a lot of options available to them. So we're gonna basically, I'm just writing down some notes as we begin and meander our way through this, as I keep saying. But and with the draft being 22 hours in advance, I did tell you the preamble, but I guess the question is do you want to start with that, or do you want to just jump into discussing the Giannis stuff, or do you want to discuss the looming draft?
I'm good for whatever, honestly.
Okay, I think we'll start by just talking about the guards. So in the middle of the draft, there's going to be quite a number of guards that are available. Um, the guards that I see available. So I'll name like four. I'll give you four names. We'll kind of talk through them, and then we'll kind of go into like verses after we discuss the guards. So we're going to start off. And by the way, when I say guards, I'm going to say point guards, and I'm going to include someone like a Cameron Carr as one of the quote unquote wing/guards.
Yeah.
So that's going to come later. So in terms of the guards, we're going to skip through guys that are not available. And in our range, you're going to see one of Bennett Sturts, Abuka Curry, Christian Anderson, or LeBaron Philon. Okay. So those are quite a number of names. Four guys that are available potentially, with Philon being, in my opinion, and you could tell me your thoughts as well. But if you were to tier those guys, I would say that Philon is a little bit in a tier of his own as a prospect coming into the NBA this year. Would you agree
That's
with
that's exactly what I was about to say.
that?
Of the four, Phylon is just by himself, and then
Right.
that next tier, Sturts, Anderson, Okori. You can make arguments for all of them for number two, three, or four. It doesn't really matter. They're just in a tier. It just depends on what's your preference. Do you want a guy who can really get into the paint, take guys off the dribble? That might be a Corey. Do you want a guy who can really pull up off a pick and roll, catch and shoot like Christian Anderson? Do you want a guy who can kind of do a little bit of that, Just be like the ultimate release valve on offense when you kick it out to someone who's not going to be shy to take big shots. That would be Bennett Sturts. So I think it just depends on, well, what do you want? What is your need for the team right now?
Right. And would you, in terms of if you're continuing to tier the guys off, are the other three guys, in your opinion, of the same tier?
For me, they are.
Okay. So then that's a fair way to start.
I
So
have
I
a
think
I would have a Corey at the top, but it really doesn't matter to me if it's a Corey Sturts and Anderson or a Corey Anderson Sturts. Like it doesn't, For me, I have a Corey ahead of those three. If I had the top of those three, I should say, I'd have a Corey at the top.
okay. So yeah, so let's talk through it. So then, um, I'll leave Phylon till the end because we just said that the other three are basically in the same tier. So it's less of a fun conversation to start with Phylon because obviously if Phylon is there, then it's like that run to the podium moment. But assuming that you have all three on the board without going into who you would choose first, like we should I think it makes sense talk about the pros and cons of each. So I mean you kind of outlined it in some ways. I'm gonna put it in a different way. So I'm gonna talk about the pros and then the 70th percentile outcome for each, and we kind of talk through the 70th percentile outcome where hey they don't reach the high ceiling of what they want, but they reach a mid ceiling, and is that still worth it? Is that still something that could be valuable? So we could start with Bennett Sturts actually. I almost said Ricky Bobby. You're Rick Dickerson. What's it?
Ryan is his name.
Ryan Dickerson. I'm so sorry.
No,
I actually don't have it in front of me.
no. It's Dickinson.
Okay.
If he's
So
watching.
shout out to Ryan.
Yeah.
Bennett Sturts fan club man. Bennett Sturts to me is instantly a guy. Now, I will add for the Raptors, any of these guards, any of them would be a plus in terms of in the rotation because of what they come with.
Right.
At least out of these four. There's not a single one where you're like, I don't know if he can get minutes. So that's the first thing. I look at Sturts as someone who he can get. He has a high understanding of the game, and he has a good understanding of how things are maneuvering around him, and his court mapping is something that I've noticed that is pretty good. And so again, I don't necessarily have all of the numbers in front of me right at the second, but I believe he was a pretty solid. He might have even shot. Did he shoot 70% at the rim? I think.
Those numbers I don't have.
Right. So but he definitely shot one of the better shooting aspects of him was at the rim. Compared to other guys that you see that we're just talking about right now, the question is like, what were those shots at the rim the same level of shots or not? And that's really my question, because I think he can run an offense. I think he comes with point guard skills for sure. There's no question about that. I'm actually going to pull up some numbers right now as we're just kind of meandering our way through this and talking through this. But in terms of Sturts, assuming that the numbers are bearing out, what are you most excited for? Because I know that some of the off-ball stuff is a little bit flash in the pan type stuff, because it just a lot of what he was doing was running offense. So there's I don't want to say a lack of there's a sample size issue with his off-ball numbers. It's probably the best way to put it.
Right. Well, I think the big thing with Sturts is that there's just more of a body of work. You kind of know what you're getting with Bennett Sturts, especially since he's 22 years old. He'll be 23 and
True.
4-year college player. Again, those things don't really bother me. Not at pick 19, they don't. If it was pick 7, yeah, it would bother me. I want a freshman or a sophomore. Seniors around pick 20, that I don't really care about that. But I think we basically know what Bennett Sturts is. He's not going to be one of those guys. He's going to get into the paint and try to make something happen there. He is
64.2% in
at
the paint. I don't know about his rim numbers, but yeah.
64. This is field goal percentage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty good, I guess, in the paint. Starts
Pretty
as
good.
decent size. Um, of the three guards, though, between him and Corey and Anderson, Sturts had the better defensive numbers, which is, I'm not saying with a lot of reverence or anything, but for what it's worth, his defense was a little bit better than theirs. Um, Mind you, he played at Iowa, Texas Tech. They're probably similar teams. They definitely were better than Stanford with a Corey. Um, but I think it wouldn't shock me if Sturts this year coming into the NBA had a better year than those two did, just because he's a bit older, stuff like
Right.
that. That wouldn't shock me too much. Now, if you're projecting long term, who's going to be the best one? That's a little harder to tell. But I think I think with Sturts, teams are looking for that backup point guard right now. You're not bringing him in to start. I don't think so anyway.
Right. And so his his paint numbers I just gave 62.5. His at rim numbers are not 70%. Sorry, I said that wrong. It's a little bit lower than that, but still in the 86th percentile at 67.5. That's
That's
really
not bad.
good numbers.
Yeah.
Overall, it is going to be higher than the other guards that we talk about.
Yeah.
It's certainly higher than Abuka Okore, certainly higher than Christian Anderson. To me, I look at it as anytime a guy is able to, who's a guard, is able to get in the paint and he's finishing at a rate of above 60%, you've checked off a box and a half for me, right? I just don't have to worry about it. Now, again, as I said, some of the looks that he's getting at the rim compared to other guys may be different in nature, which may be an indication of A, how Iowa ran their offense with Sturts at the helm, but also B, does give me some questions, which is for Sturts, it's is his are his shot attempts at the rim, are they easier shot attempts than say LeBaron Bottom?
You're saying are they or are they not?
Yeah. That's my question.
Uh, would they be easier at the rim for Phylon than compared to him? I'm not sure of that answer.
Because it's like, is he going up? That's my theory, is that he's using screens so well that by the time he gets to the hoop, he doesn't have to worry about these things as much, right?
Yeah.
And so he has an easier path to a layup versus Phylon, who sometimes is attacking into the paint.
Yeah. Well, Phylon's is definitely much quicker in getting in. Sturt's probably is stronger, mainly because he's older and he's a little bigger as well. Like
Yeah.
weight wise, he is. But here's a question I have for you. Sturts has been the man everywhere he's gone. Like, I mean, he's the number one option. He's the alpha. He's the omega. He's Luca. That's what it basically is. It's not a white person thing, people, but it's just like he's been Luca everywhere he's gone. When he goes to the NBA, he's not Luca anymore. He has to adapt to a different role. Now, he could really excel at that role, but it also might take him time to adjust to that role. He comes to Toronto, he ain't the guy. Comes to Toronto on most sets or in rotations, he's the fourth or fifth option. He goes anywhere, really, it's going to be that. That's going to be a bit of adjustment period for him. And it's good to be for all these guys, honestly. At this range, it will be.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to be an adjustment, but as you said, it's going to be an adjustment for all of these guys. I do think that Sturts is smart enough to fit in and around guys, so that I don't see that as being an issue. I saw one of his interviews recently. His faith is very, very important to him, which is good. Where I have some concerns with him is, again, if the plan is to draft him and have him run a lot of off-ball actions, what does that look like compared to a guy who's maybe a little bit shiftier off-ball because of the speed and athleticism? His shot form and his ability and the release is impressively quick, fast.
Yep. Yep.
Not something that I think that anyone here would worry about.
Oh,
But
that
yeah,
step back is dangerous. Oh, when he's got that step back working like he did in the tournament, he just
yeah.
drives and he steps back. See, that has to, I think, in my opinion, that has to be one of his top two or three moves in the pros. He's not going to beat anybody off the dribble too much, especially when you're defending someone really good is defending you. He's going to have to use his steps efficiently. He has to outthink the defender in terms of his movements, like where he's going to go. He has to know beforehand. Basically, it's like I'm gonna jab right, go right, take two dribbles, pull back. He's got to have that probably mapped out because the defense in the NBA is going to be a heck of a lot better than what he's seen in college.
Um, yeah. I mean, it's. I like the fact that you said the step back needs to be one of his go-to moves because if you
It
look at
has to
a
be.
thing like the floater, which I think a lot of people like to suggest that prospects add, the floater is a much harder thing to get right because
Mhm.
it's the cadence of your movement. So I remember hearing shout out to Samson Folk on this one. I think he was speaking to I want to say Trey, but they were talking about quickly and how quickly goes for the floater, and it's
Mhm.
almost like it's not a reaction of him going to the floater, but his natural inclination is to go to the floater. To
Mhm.
me, it almost feels like he almost it is a reaction, like he panics. But I think the point that they're trying to say is that the cadence of his movements is these aren't their words, but just my way. The cadence, the pattern of how he gets to the floater makes it very obvious that he's going for the floater. Whereas a guy like Trey Young, who just got paid $212 million as a contract that he just signed for the next 4 years, plus I believe a player option. Yes, um, I think Trey, to his credit, his pattern movements, the pass versus the floater looks identical, so you don't really know what he's going to do.
Is Bennett Sturts like? Is there a comparable there to Trey Young? I think it's
No,
not a bad one.
yeah, I think from that, well, I would hope he's a better shooter than Trey Young.
Well, no, but
Because
Trey Young's a pretty good shooter though.
he's had moments. I think he's a decent shooter because of the volume that he puts up. But
Yeah.
Trey Young traditionally has not shot nearly as well as people thought. I think people compared him to Steph coming in, and
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
gonna pull up the numbers right now. Now Steph also shoots in
Yeah.
volume and whatnot.
I would this year was a wash though for Trey Young. You just hurt all the time.
Yeah, so which I agree. I'm looking at the numbers right now. Before this year, the previous year. Okay, sorry, that's wrong way to look at it. I was looking at the totals, not the per game average. Let me just refresh this. So yeah, I think that there are comparables in the sense that he likes to probe in and out. But my point with Trey Young was more about how Trey focuses on his floater and how he gets to the floater. And I like
Mhm.
the fact that you said something different that he needs to work on. But just to kind of cover it, this year actually, even in the 5 games, he was actually shooting well. Um, the year before, I'm gonna also wash as well as the year before. Oh, sorry, no, they combined the two. So I'm going to ignore this past year, 15 games. The last year that he actually played, he shot 34%. The year before that was his highest ever at 37. And then the year before that, 33. So he's had some up years where he's shooting closer to 38%, but then he's had some years where he's shooting closer to like, let's just say below league average. And when he's shooting below league average, it's really tough. And I just because Bennett Sturts has the size behind him, I'm not as worried about him being able to shoot when he's on ball. The question that I have is off ball, will he be hunted up by the defense? Because he is I mean, that could open up the floor for other guys, but is he someone that could get hunted in that way?
Oh, I think he's going to get hunted big time.
Right.
To be fair, though, if you look at some of the numbers, Anderson and Okori might get hunted too. They're going to get hunted more for their size, I think. That's just one of
Right.
the downsides when you're a smaller guard.
Now they're
But
all around the same height and size, except funny enough, Okori has a longer wingspan than the others, which is interesting.
yep,
Um,
that could be used to his advantage, though,
it
for sure.
could be used to his advantage for sure, especially around the hoop. There is a world where he gets better at finishing around the hoop at the next level, so to
Yeah.
speak. I think the thing with Sturts that is interesting though is he played a lot of minutes. He did a huge role, and like he said, he's looking forward in his interview basically that he doesn't mind kind of taking having less minutes to play, even though those minutes are going to be spread out throughout an 82 game season instead of like a 32 game season. It's still going to be challenges, but yeah. Any final thoughts on Sturts before we move on?
Give me two teams that you think he would fit well on in this draft. Like anywhere from, I don't know if you have the teams up in front of you, but like
Yep.
anywhere from 12th to I say OKC because they have the 17th pick, but like
Well,
from,
that's 12 to 12, 12 to 17.
yeah, so like, yeah, let's just go 13. No, we'll start at 14. Let's go 14 to like 24, like the Knicks. Like if anyone in that range, which I think will probably be his range,
Yeah. Yeah.
where do you
Um,
think he probably would
if
be a good fit?
he would never slip past 24. Let's put it that way. So that's like the absolute like the Knicks would be crazy to not take him and not have Brunson have like a guy that he can kind of truly just get some rest on. That would oh my gosh.
My gosh, you deal with those
It
two.
would be criminal.
Yeah.
I think you can rule out the Spurs. Charlotte, it's interesting because they do have Kobe White to think of. So I just don't see it. And, if the idea is for him to be more of a combo guard next level, I think Kobe White, just because of his size, has it. Even though I think Sturts is probably a better playmaker. He's like, yeah, it'll just be interesting. But I think the Grizzlies are a decent shot. Um, hinted Ada Corey. Yeah. um, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a Corey either, but yeah.
The Grizzlies
Welcome,
would be
Will.
interesting. Whatever they do with John Morant, if they can do anything. I think if Miami strikes out on Giannis, they're going to go likely for John
Fox, or
Morant.
it could be Fox, could be John Morant. The thing is John Morant works well in Minnesota because they don't have as many draft equity to give up, and
Yeah.
because his value has kind of diminished, it might be a good team to go for John Morant. I see
Yeah.
Miami trying to go for Fox though if they strike out. Um,
Yeah.
quick Giannis break, I guess we'll take in the middle of discussing these guards.
Giannis
Um,
break. Giannis break.
I think the thing with Giannis is I really do see him going to the Celtics.
I just think if you can get Jalen Brown back and then you just flip him, that's your best deal. You can't do that
Yeah,
quite the same with Tyler Hero.
even in a 3 team deal, there's more that you're going to get back involving Jalen Brown. So even
Yeah.
if it's like a one foul swoop 3 team deal, Jalen Brown goes to I don't know Portland or wherever he ends up going, or probably I said it, I called it long ago that the three, if it ends up being it, Atlanta, you can get another top 10 pick from Atlanta
You
and
certainly
stuff
can.
and nicer stuff than you can, in my opinion, than you would from Miami. Now I know some people are what do you call it? Where stands Khalil Ware stands. Khalil Ware, he's been good. I think he still has a little bit of motor issues and focus issues at time. Yeah, I think having more ownership over your destiny moving forward in this new NBA is probably beneficial. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Now, the
100%.
Pistons may not like that because the Pistons seemingly um, have been rumored to be a destination for a 3 teamer where, Tyler Hero is going to them. I do find this very interesting. But the Pistons still may be involved in a Tyler Hero move, in a move where Miami goes for a guard somehow. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Back to the guards. So we talked about Sturts, Christian Anderson, and Ibuka Okori. Now these two are interesting to compare because one, they're not polar opposites, but they're very different in terms of how they approach the game. Ibuka Okori being more of a offensive weapon is just the best way that I can describe. I do not think he's a combo guard, but at the same time, he's not necessarily, he doesn't have point guard tendencies in terms of how he plays right now. Whereas I find Christian Anderson is, just from the point guard side of things, he's way more of a playmaker. He has some smooth passes. He's not afraid to slip passes too, that are more dangerous in nature.
Hmm.
What I will say though is that Ibuka Okori has some bounce to his game and has, even though it doesn't look like it on when you watch the film, he is actually a bigger guy. The way that, because I've heard these comparisons of Christian Anderson to quickly, I think those need to be put to bed because quickly has a better ability. Sorry, not quickly. Christian Anderson has a much better ability to be able to get, um, you know, basically create his own shot. I don't think that quickly depends, at least on the Raptors. We've seen that when Pirtle's out there, he gets his shot off pretty well and he's able to use those screens really well. But it feels like he relies on these DHO actions or even off-ball screens to be able to have that as a method of creating an offense rather than getting things off the dribble. And I'm not really worried about um, Christian Anderson's ability to get to the rim, especially since when he's at the rim, he is finishing at a 62% level, even though he is a smaller guard. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much of a difference in size between the two. Like they're both 6'2.5" in shoes. That's what I'm reading here anyway. I thought Corey was a little
With
bigger.
Christian Anderson,
Yeah, in
I thought
shoes,
he was like 6'1".
maybe that's
I'm
incorrect.
looking at look at the barefoot numbers.
Yeah,
Maybe someone's using platforms.
because they're both around 6'1", I think, barefoot, roughly. But yeah,
Yeah.
wingspan that goes to a Corey, but it's not much. But let's remember too, Christian Anderson was on a much better team at Texas Tech than a Corey. He had JT Toppin, and it's another
Yes.
player who's
But
really,
Toppin got injured.
yeah. And that's when we kind of start to see Christian Anderson shine. I think Anderson's game right now, if he used to jump into the NBA, might be more beneficial than a Corey's game because Anderson's ability just to pull up threes, which he's going to have to do because of his size,
Oh man,
it's
you're
it's
right.
going to it's
Sorry.
going to it's going to work well for him.
Yeah. Jeez, they're both like, yeah, smaller.
Yeah, they're both small.
Actually,
Corey's a little heavier, not by much though, but it's.
yeah, and actually, Phylon's a little bit longer than Sturts as well, but it's like it's fairly negligible. I mean, they're all smaller guards in general, but yeah. Um,
James, I got an answer for you right now.
all right, say it.
If Koa Pete is selected to this team, I might throw my television out the window.
Um, Cole Pete, I don't see being selected, but I too would be not impressed.
I,
The
I don't.
other one is for me personally is Alan Graves. I will finish up the final Abuka Corey and then talk about Phylon against all of them, and then we'll talk briefly about Alan Graves in a second. I think Abuka Corey, he's one I like any of these guards I would be happy with. Um, it's just the way that I see him succeeding is a little bit different because you do have to reorientate how you get your offense to be
Mhm.
to be well. And just a side note, I mean, if he says that he did well in workouts, I mean everyone says that they do well in workouts. But yeah, I mean, there's a world that he is there, and there's a world that he is. I've seen him all over the map.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now at a mock that has him at 21. So I will find out in within a 24-hour
Well,
period.
here's the thing too. If the Raptors draft a point guard,
Yeah,
these guys coming in are third string point guards.
that's my point. Like they
Someone has to
will.
go.
I They don't have to go right away, but I mean, like, I'll put it this way, right? Like, if it comes down to it, do you want to pay Shed for his new contract next year, or would you rather take a bet on one of these guys long term, not short term, long term?
Well, long term offensively, there's just more upside there with these guys.
Even in the
Defense,
short term,
yeah, you can make an argument for that. Yeah,
I mean, the guy shoots sub 40% from the field.
yeah. I just don't think the Raptors are going to be that cutthroat. I see what you're saying. I just don't think they're going to be that
I,
cutthroat. So, Shed,
I,
when you're
I,
at the door, see you.
I don't think that they have to trade him. I don't think that they have to waive him or anything like that. My point is like by the end of the year, he might be supplanted.
Mm-hmm.
And that just works itself out. It's like, hey, you could take this money or you could leave it. Well, he goes and gets the money somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's just how the nature of the beast. I mean, if I asked you probably 6 months ago about Mamu, you'd probably say that Mamu was for sure coming back. Now look at right now, we're not talking about Mamu coming back.
Yeah, and I'm probably one of the few I don't really want him to come back.
I mean, you're not alone, but I'm
Yeah.
but the point still stands, right?
I'm
And
sure
then
there's
the
a
other thing,
minority of us. That's what I mean. I'm not sure what your
yeah,
thoughts are on that. I was thinking maybe you're not a huge fan of him coming back.
I'm neither here nor there, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, if he wanted to come back on a deal that's manageable, I don't mean to be so cold with it, but you know, you do want to eventually be able to trade guys or whatever. So again, this nostalgia of Shed had a good playoffs, even though he was still like shooting 37% from the field in the playoffs and 32% from deep in the playoffs, and didn't do much better in the regular season. Doesn't really sell me on it because he's a, you know, he's a guy with leadership, even though he's the guy on the floor and no one's standing up for him.
Yeah. I can see it. I just think this group's going to be like, you know what? We have our third string point guard. It's Chucky Hepburn. We're going to
Sure.
keep it as is, and that's you know what, whatever.
Uh,
That's up to
I
them.
don't see Chucky Hepburn. Let me put it this way: they traded for Davion, and Davion was out the door by the end of the year. Davion didn't do anything wrong. He was actually better than Chet.
Mm-hmm.
That was a pure cold financial calculation of moves.
Which they get a
And
second round pick and then flip that for Trace Jackson Davis, and now they're probably not even going to extend his contract.
fair enough,
And that's
I
fair.
agree. But the point is those earlier moves were actually moves that were quite prudent in the past year. So from that standpoint, from the accounting standpoint, I think it wins out. I don't think it's automatic that they pick, a guard, but
No.
if they pick a guard, I like you can worry about the where they fit in later on. At bottom line, you don't really have a third guard anyways. They lack point guard play, and they lack the ability that the offense was super stagnant. So at the end of the day, if it wins out on the court, I think that you don't have to go further. Any of these guys would make your offense way more dynamic, and I think you'd have to worry less. Maybe I'm being too cutthroat with it, but yeah.
No, offensively, there's definitely more upside, I would say, than Shed. I won't say quickly because I mean we could say we want with Quickly's contract. He is a pretty good offensive player when he's rolling. Like he did drop 40 something against Golden State back on that West Coast road trip. But I will
Mm-hmm.
say that offensively, these guys can offer more than Shed does, and maybe there might even be more upside than Quickly. A guy like Anderson, for example, that jump shot is smooth, and he comes off it ready to shoot. Quickly,
Yes.
quickly still has the he catches it and he has to bring it back down, and then it comes back up again. Anderson,
Yes.
it's in the pocket right away.
Yeah.
Anderson reminds me of a pretty good NBA player. You might
Who?
not agree, but he reminds me a little bit of him. Just the shot form, the pull up game reminds me a little bit of Kemba Walker, a little bit. The smaller guard who's able to really get the elbow in, the shot form ready. I don't know if he'll be as kind of thick as Kemba. Kemba got a lot bigger, but Anderson reminds me a little bit of him at times, just the pull
I,
up. I think.
yeah, I think that's not the worst comparison. I think the thing with Kemba versus him, I think Anderson has a much better understanding of the defensive side. It hasn't always translated, and that's part of. I mean, he has a smaller frame. However, he is one of the younger of the group that we just talked about. He is the youngest, if I'm not mistaken,
Mhm.
in those drafts. But yeah, I think. I mean, it is what it is.
I'm just glad
Um,
that James comment. James, ultimately, I agree with you. Ultimately, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't want an undersized guard either. But at the end of the day, if they choose to pick a guard, hey, these guards are much better than the undersized guards that we have.
yeah,
I think compared to Quickly, he offers something different, and these guys could play with Quickly if you want to try that lineup as well. But
yeah.
yeah,
There's only
moving.
one undersized guard, James, just one, and that's his man. It's the only one that I'd really be strongly considering. That's Phylon.
Yes. So, which I we haven't really discussed, but yeah, like Phylon is just a cut above the rest in terms of his athleticism and everything
Yes.
else. And he's small, but he's like I don't want to say wiry because that like undersells it, but like he just has a little bit of a different build. Like I was listening and or like Shed is listed at like 200 pounds or something like that. Phylon's like 185. I think he can kind of get up there weight wise, but yeah. But in terms of going back to Shed really quickly, even his defense, if you look at the numbers and also if you look at the court, there were times last year where it didn't really translate as well as like you would have thought. You start thinking back, you're like, how much of this was really? I mean, he on in terms of defensive box plus minus, he was a zero. He was exactly rated as net neutral at best.
Hmm.
And then offensively, he was just abysmal. So, but moving along from guards, because I want to talk about people in the, I want to talk about the future. Um, you know, if everyone hits their mid 70th percentile outcome, who are you interested in from this guard class? And then we'll move on um, from guards to centers.
Are this guard class? You mean the ones we've just discussed, like the
Yes.
three or
Yeah. Yeah.
four?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't
Oh,
want to really
oh,
talk about
well,
Mikhail
LeBaron
Brown.
would be, yeah, LeBaron would be the one that I'm the most interested in. He is the only one I really would want. I'm not mad if they take Sturts or Anderson or Corey. I'm
No.
not. I'm perfectly, I'm fine with it. I get it. Uh, they see something there. They want to change how the guard play operates. I get that. But, if LeBaron Phylon is there and you don't take him, I'd be
Yeah.
disappointed because he's the number one right now on my Raptors big board of guys who might be there that I would take. He's number one.
I've not heard a single podcast or anyone speaking with any knowledge saying if he's there, don't take him.
Yeah,
Everyone has said he shouldn't. In theory, he shouldn't be there, and if he is there, you take it and run, whether undersized or not. It's just a skill set. It's a skill set, and as a prospect, he's the best prospect of
I love
that
how they
group.
say undersized. That's the one thing you can work on is weight. It's not his height. His height is fine. He's like six
Yeah,
three.
he's actually quickly size, which
Yeah,
seems fine, more or
that's
less.
a typical.
Maybe even six. He's actually might even be closer to 6'4", even.
Yeah, as he
He could
gets
push
older,
it.
he'll put on weight, but he's got everything else. The shot form's good, the handle's good, the compete level is good.
He
Year
also
one, they
improved. This is understated, but a guy that is able to work on his game year over year and like significantly improve his game. Like I mean, he went from being a non-shooter essentially and shooting like 32% to shooting about 40% from the field. The way that he gets his shots, where he gets his shots. I mean, there is very few places out there he can work in the pick and roll. He can work without the pick and roll as well, which is something that is very very nice. Although he does do better off ball coming off screens for sure.
do you know in this draft, there's only one scorer better than him per 36 minutes, and that's AJ Devanza. No one else. LeBaron Phylon is
I did not
second.
know that.
Yep. He's ahead of Darren Peterson. He's ahead of Cam Boozer. He's ahead of Caleb Wilson, Darius Acuff Jr., Mikel Brown. It is LeBaron Philon, who is number 2, best
So
scorer per 36 minutes.
I have his at rim numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They're not that far behind Sturts as much as I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Sturts was what 67.5 or something like that. LeBaron's a 66.7 at the rim.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried at all. Okay, moving on from these guys, let's talk about centers. And then let's talk about forwards, and let's go into some more fun stuff like the mock drafts and stuff like that. Okay,
Yay.
yeah, centers. So we have potentially Jaden Quaidance. I'm going to take Morez Johnson off because I think if he is there, it's kind of like the Philon situation.
This
Take
is my
him,
guy,
run.
but he ain't gonna be there.
Yeah, just take it, run. He's probably the best defender in the class overall. More of a play finisher. I think some people overstate his uh, playmaking ability, but at the same time, overall, like you're not like I see him closer to like a new version of Nas Reed. New version of Nas Reed.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But a bit more of a play finisher. But yeah, like he's just
Defense is better.
yes, yeah, true, very good point. Although Nas Reed has improved on defense, like
Yep.
this guy is coming in as like literally the best defender in the class. So, um, I'm gonna ignore him.
Yeah.
I think we're mainly talking about two guys, unless you really want to add in Alan Graves as a center, and I am refusing to do so.
Yeah, I have him 8th on my big board, but 8th is last for me right now. So yeah, there's only 2 guys that I can really.
Sorry, three. There's three guys. Three.
Oh yes,
Quaidance.
yes, right. Yeah,
Yes. Quaidance, Hannes,
and Snack.
and Sanak. Now, Sanak posted today, and he posted about how he worked out with the Raptors. Now, some people read way too much into this. Say, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, he's wearing this suit on the day. He's wearing a purple suit, or oh, he's doing this, or whatever it is, or oh my gosh, like the day before. Like, I think he's just doing a photo dump. That's just me personally. Like, everyone thought like Noah Senge is coming and like he's gonna get drafted by Messiah, worked out and all this, and he didn't get drafted by us.
they had the private workout. He only granted 2, I think. It was Brooklyn
Yes,
and Toronto,
yeah, and he didn't get drafted by
and
him.
neither team selected him because they didn't want him. Brooklyn went with all
They've
guards,
seen enough.
and we went with CMB. So
Yeah. So, where do you want to take this? I'll let you kind of choose your own adventure.
well, Quaintance is the one with the most upside. There's I don't think there's any much debate there on what he could be. Like if you had to say one of these 3 guys will win an award someday, you would say Quaintance will win Defensive Player of the Year.
Yes, even
If
in
not,
the Wemby era.
yeah, he could. Guard 1 through 5. Physically, he is just very difficult to deal with, and it doesn't matter what size you are.
Yes,
But
you
the
would have three fully switchable guys in a way that you have not had really ever. But yeah,
you're talking about
and
him and Scotty and CMB,
yes,
right?
that is the tantalizing nature of him because, like you said, he can guard potentially point of attack,
Yep.
even at an NBA level. I'm not saying that he can guard Shea and like shut him down or anything like that, but like you have three guys that you could switch on. You have him on. You have two guys who can easily guard wings and whatnot. I would not put Scotty on point of attack anyways, but sometimes he had to guard point of attack. Funny enough, and now you could always have at least two. Just from the opposite, we always think about offensively. Defensively, you can always have potentially two guys with one guy resting on the bench out there at all times.
Yeah. I'm going to call him the Alex McKechnie pick because there's no way he would sign off on taking him if the knee really is bad. If he says the knee is okay and that we think we can rehab this correctly, we have him ready to go by Christmas. I don't know if he starts the year for us, but if we have him ready to go by, near the new year,
Yeah,
man, I that's tantalizing talent that you don't see too often. But it is a risk though because if he plays part time for 2 or 3 years and he's out of the league because of the injuries, like it's Greg Oden almost, you're just like, you'll say,
yeah.
think of all the guys we could have had at that spot. But that's a tough pick there. That's really tough because again, he goes to Spurs and he's fine. League's in trouble for the next 10 years. He goes to the Knicks. Actually, if the Knicks say, you know what, Mitchell Robinson, as Beyond says, hey, it's been fun. We'll go with him instead. The Knicks might be like, you know what? We've already dealt with one injury plague center. Why don't we give this kid a try? And this kid's better defensively.
You're not
So,
wrong at all. I'm just trying to
so
find a good thing to share here.
Quaitons
Uh,
is he's the type that Scouts will drool over but it also could be your downfall if if the knee is just bad. He hasn't been invited to the green room yet. It's a big deal. If you're not invited to that, it's like,
okay, let's do an anatomy lesson. Let's do a quick anatomy lesson. Just so do you know what his injury was?
tore his ACL, didn't he?
That's not all.
LCL, MCL.
Meniscus.
So he tore his ACL and his meniscus.
Apparently, now I don't know what grade, but this is your ACL right here,
Yeah,
right here. Okay,
folks, we're getting a
so
good medical lesson right now. It's awesome.
and then you have your lateral and medial for midline meniscus. Now on it's I don't yeah. So you're again the medial is going to be close to the midline. The other one is going to be on the outside. It did not say which meniscus he tore, but yeah. And then this is a good example where it has the ACL torn. Now, does that make me feel warm and cozy? No. Um, however, the argument would be he trended away from swelling whenever because you have an increased risk of re-tearing it or whatever when it's swelling. He was touch and go for basically the entirety of the season. He was basically touch and go with even the way that he kind of approached practices and stuff like that. He basically redshirted the year to get healthy and worked out as much as he could while rehabbing. Depending on how that goes, is of course everyone says just like how Effie pointed out. Hey, Anderson says he did well in workouts. This kid is saying I'm almost 100%. Maybe he is.
Well, he's trying to get
Maybe he is
drafted too,
not.
so he gets paid.
That too. So yeah. So I think uh, I really like his personality. I really like a lot of what he brings. He seems very focused. He's not. He just basically plays basketball and watches anime, and that's it. He actually has a voice that sounds very similar to OG in a weird, odd way. What I would say is I worry. I worry just a little bit about the injury, and that is why I've slowly, as things have gone, as time has gone on, I would I would be trending away from. He said close to 100%. By the way, I read the article recently. It said close to 100. But yeah, I would worry about him. And for that reason, I have to put him lower. But the tantalizing nature, like if they can get him, say you can get the 30th overall pick, or say you can get a second pick and you pick, say it's the 24th pick and you pick him up there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And I would not be mad if I trust the Raptors medical staff from that standpoint. of getting him right if they want to. Because as James Barlow pointed out, shout out to him, um, say he can only give you in his first year, which most big men are only really giving you 24 minutes in their first year, anyways, at best. Even Sengun, I was looking and looking at some of these guys like Sabonis back in the day. Um, you are if Alec McKechnie thinks that he can get him right and he can give you 20 minutes, those 20 minutes may be the most incredible 20 minutes that we're talking about. So that's where it's like I defer to them on that type of decision. And if they think that he can be right, you take him. If they are at all concerned, I think you go with the next guy that we're going to talk about, which is Hannes Steinbach, and then we'll finish things off with Sinek.
Yeah, no, I think with just
Yeah.
to finish off on Quaitons,
Go for it.
that's one of the things I do trust with the Raptors is the medical people. They got OG came off a torn ACL. I think it was I don't know if it's a full tear or a partial tear. Anyway, he was ready by first preseason game, and he never looked back. He all of his injuries with the Raptors after that were just fluke injuries, basically. It was nothing ever to do with his knee. But again, Quaitons is tantalizing. I don't know what the fit looks like offensively. That would concern me a little bit if it's him and Scotty and CMB. I'm just like, ugh, I don't know. But I know you just take the talent at the end of the day and you try to figure it out.
And also, you're doing something different than the NBA, but not in the traditional way where you're trying to only play. Like, usually we get a whole bunch of wings that can't play, you know what I mean? Like, at least you're getting a guy who plays a different position. And I don't want to, in terms of a guy who, like, say he's healthy and he's getting minutes, or he can get minutes. I don't want a guy who's like a tweener where you're cutting away from other guys' minutes, because then on this team, he's not going to get minutes. So
Mhm.
if it's, I'm going to draft a 5 if he's truly a 5. I'm not going to draft a 5 if they don't think that he can play 5 or he needs time at the 4.
Yeah. Oh, I think he could definitely play at the 5. I think he has to. I
I
just
think
don't
he
know.
has to, but
I
I
don't
think
think
he
that
is a
offensive
5.
skill set would be there for
Yeah,
for at least 4 that can score. And you really don't need that. You could really use his switchability and his defense. It's like, I don't know who's going to score on our team, but then again, I don't know who's going to score on the other
coach,
team.
I'm going to give you the tough talk right now. First of all, regardless of who's drafted, we got to figure out that offense. But the second thing is Scotty's supposed to be a superstar, okay? The best guys in the league, if he's truly a top 15 player or a top 10 player, they are able to thrive in imperfect circumstances. Remember that.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, that just watching him and CMB acquaintance, like, uh, I, I'm
Someone's got to
curious.
figure it out.
Someone's going to
They
figure it
got the
out.
whole summer to figure it out. Go
And
figure it out.
boy, talk talk about an interesting summer trying to make it work out with those 3. I don't mean that in a negative way. You have 3 very good talents,
I'm not worried
athletically.
about CMB potentially being able to space the floor next year.
Mhm. I
But the
have to
other
see it
thing is
first.
what if you have the best defense in the league?
You could. I don't know eventually will like, but you could. If you lean into it, then
That's what I'm saying. Lean into it. Lean into
well,
your strength and
they
figure
leaned
out the
into
rest.
CMB and Elijah Martin last year.
You like Grady. You want to know what makes Grady more ultimately valuable on this squad? Doing that.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, but like teams are going to be like, we don't want to get switched off of. Like have Quaitons guard us, or have CMB guard us, or have Scotty guard us.
Right.
Yeah, you won't. Teams won't be looking to do a lot of screen and roll actions.
You figure out the offense over time. Um, and maybe there's a secondary move down the line. It doesn't all have to be perfect right away. I'm saying if
Mhm.
you're trying to solidify, like let me answer a question and solidify something. If you're asking me who has, because Senak might be drafted, and if he's as raw as some people think he is, he might need some G League time. And I'd rather have a guy that can play right now impact it and has plenty of room to grow because he's still really, really young. Than a guy that it's like you don't know because he's making this mistake, and then Darko doesn't want to play him because he did this. I worry about that.
Yeah. Speaking of Sanak,
I also
I
worry
don't
about the
think.
knees. But yeah, go
Oh
for it.
yeah, Quayton's knees. No, that's it. That's just the big question for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Every scout or coach can see how freaking talented this guy is. Question is, are you willing to take the risk? That's just going to be the major question with Quayton's. I think offensively they know kind of where he's at. Defensively, they certainly know where he's at. Can you take a risk on his availability?
Yeah,
Because he's not even
Sanak.
19 years old yet.
True. Sanak. He improved during the year. Shot decently well from beyond the arc. Does not get to the line because his game is not really refined in a
Nope.
real way. One of the things for big men that I look at, and also for guards, as an indicator, is the free throw rate
Mm-hmm.
because it typically translates well. Now there is some discrepancy. A guy can become a better free throw rate drawer, but in general, if it's a very good thing if they come ready to play from that standpoint. Um, Senak and Hannes, if they're both on the board, I'm assuming you're a Hannes man. Um,
Uh, for this team, Hannes, I think.
yeah. Now Senak's interesting because the theory of him could work, but we do a lot of theorizing. And my argument for Hannes is that he's ready made, plug and play,
Yeah,
and he would not just fit now but into the future. The only thing is that defensively, can he guard the fives, and defensively, how much do you have to worry?
yeah. People, I think James was on our shows. Like people like the idea of Sanak more than actually Sanak his game. What the actual evidence is, because
Yes.
analytically, he's not a darling at all. It's
Uh-uh.
not great. Just to be blunt, it's pretty bad. Um,
Yeah.
Now his combine numbers were fantastic. 37-inch vertical for someone 6'11". That's pretty good. Did
Yep.
the shuttle run in under 3 seconds, 2.8. Again, six foot
Yes.
eleven. He's an
Works
athlete.
he works hard too. He went to
Uh,
Houston to specifically be coached. And he got better. Um, I don't see any motor issues.
no, there's none at all. 7'5" wingspan too for a guy at 6'11". Again, that's
But
really good.
feel wise, you're gonna have to do a lot of heavy lifting on your side to get him to where he needs to. To me, it feels a little bit now. Obviously, they're completely different players, but it feels a little bit like drafting James Wiseman, where it's like, are you just drafting on potential, and because the field's so lacking that it never quite gets there?
Mhm. Yeah, I would be fine if they drafted Sinak. I'm okay
Yeah,
with it if they did. Clearly, you're drafting him for the promise, the potential promise of what he might be able to do. Some of it is that shooting upside that he has. Yeah, he's got decent form. And Sinak was a
yeah,
top 10 pick coming into this year. He fell, uh, but mind you, he worked his tail off at Houston. He wanted to be coach, and I applaud that. Playing with Kingston Flemings, ball dominant guard, and the Sharp kid. I'm thinking Emmanuel Sharp. Like these are outside of Flemings. He was basically playing on a team full of seniors, and he was the freshman big on the team. So 17 points, 14 rebounds against Kansas this year, 3 or 4 from three. That's pretty good against Kansas. He had some decent games against some of the big teams this year. Texas Tech had a double double, 11 and 11,
yeah. I think
18 and 9 against Auburn earlier in the year. That's a good team.
who is this point guard again?
Flemings.
Yeah, I see why Beyond doesn't. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just tease.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
you'd think that. Yeah,
yeah. Again,
interesting.
I see Sanak Khalil Ware esque, but he's I don't think he's as skilled,
Okay.
but I
Yeah.
don't think he's got the motor issues that Ware has.
Okay.
Not
Can
as
I be
skilled.
harsh for a second and ask you a question?
Uh,
Just to cut through it. Basketball IQ wise, where does he rank on the Chris Boucher scale?
I'm going to reframe my
Man,
answer here.
you're really thinking hard here.
No, no, because I don't know how to. I don't want to sound mean when I say this.
No, just be honest, man.
The IQ part, I'm not. He's still young,
Yes.
so I'm not. I can't go by the IQ yet. He has to learn to play in the NBA. Ask me when he's 22.
Okay.
Then we'll have a better picture of
So
him.
IQ wise, in terms of basketball, is or sort of situational awareness, we'll say, is
Yeah,
it 2 years away from being 2 years away?
he could be, but again, with the thing with Snack, it's the idea of him, and
So
that's a
he's two
risk.
years away from being 2 years away. Because if I'm saying he's 2 years
He's
away,
not
and
as raw.
you
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable even saying that from that standpoint, that worries me.
Well, he's not as raw. I don't think he's as raw as what some people say that he is.
I agree. I agree. That's why I'm specifically focusing on his feel of the game.
Yeah. If you told me he went to like, I'm making up a random university, Winthrop University, which is like a lower D1 in the US, I would feel a heck of a lot less and not as good. But him going to a top 4 or 5 program in college basketball, he's played for a coach that knows how to coach. And I think that helps him. I think that helps him in amongst some teams in this draft.
I think you're also expecting him, if drafted, to be purely a play finisher. I don't think he. It will take him a while to learn how to contribute on offense in a playmaking sense, um, and also for a big man, his defensive playmaking, so to speak, is not that great. But he's interesting. Like I said, he's to me, he's like what the Raptors were hoping they would get from Amamu. He is legitimately one of the, if he's not 7 feet, he's close to 7 feet type of a thing.
Yeah.
He's athletic. I think he has a little bit more, so he's not like it's not like drafting like a Nick Claxton, where it's like he's just purely like a lob threat. Although he could be a lob threat, I think he has a little bit more to his game, but it's gonna take some time to get there. And I just don't know compared to some of the other guys if you're spending too much time with him in terms of the hey, like it's going to take some time to get there. Do you have the time to get there? I don't know.
Well, Dan Tolzman too did say, yeah, we're very interested in a rim running big.
They
There's
also did talk about now and in the future as well in the
yeah, and
conversation.
they said they
So
could address that in free agency, but there's only like 2 or 3 in this draft in that range. Zanak is one.
yes,
If you want to say Quaitons is one, sure. It's not Steinbach. It's not him. I
yes,
don't consider him a rim run big. It's basically only in that range. Zanak, maybe Reed in Yukon, but I don't know how
yes.
interested they are in him. You
But
know,
but to chew on it a little bit more, as I was trying to, um, again, it sounds like Tolzman was suggesting that they're okay looking at the medium to long term from a prospect standpoint. They're not just looking at someone who can just contribute now, but they're also looking down the road. What happens when that guy gets, they get their hands on the guy and they're able to, mold that player. So they're looking at the options.
yeah,
So yeah.
but
Brandon, welcome. We actually just talked about JQ. So at the end of this, if we'll talk about him more. But yeah, we did actually talk about JQ, and we really like him as a prospect. You were saying,
yeah,
Coach?
no, I just think that if Sanak is on the board, I suspect him to be on the board at 19. It wouldn't shock me if he's picked. Um, you are leaning into that development aspect, but again, if he hits, he could be a really serviceable center. Like he'd be able to offer you something. There are
Mm-hmm.
concerns, like he didn't even average a block a game and only one free throw attempt a game, like you said earlier. Yeah, that's a little concerning. Sanak
Yeah.
went to Kobe's high school too. They went to the same high school.
Um.
So there's some connections
Yes.
there. I'm not saying like, oh, you drafted because there's connections. No, I mean
No. No. No.
obviously
No.
there's a
No.
connection with Shed because he went to Houston, and there's a
True.
connection there with Jacoby.
I also just think that we've heard that they like him a lot several times. He just posted, so there is a world where Snack is there. I'm not really as big of as Snack, but yeah.
Yeah, if the
Let's
kid's a
just
worker, if he's a worker, then I'm willing to give him a chance. 'Cause I know he's getting the motor issues. Like, do you want to work really put in the work on your game to be, potentially a starting center someday? He's got the talent to be.
Brandon Lee says if we pick Snack, that has to mean that everyone else Graves is taken. I don't think so, but I don't think it's that bad. But again, I lean towards I think he's an interesting prospect, but I just don't know. He really has to. They have to come ready with a plan for him, basically. Um, and so I've been a little bit harsh in this one, even though early on he was one of the first guys that I looked at, and I actually like him as a prospect. But it's just like the close that we get, it's like, oh, can we get a second pick? He shot 74.4 at the rim, which is really impressive, of course. He comes with a lot of additives, even on catch and shoots from outside the arc. Like there's spots on the floor that he was shooting like above the break, 46%, 45%. But he's a little raw, maybe overly estimated as being raw, but he's a little raw, and I think that there are better guys. Hannes is the final guy. We haven't really given him enough love. Coach, you take it away because I was just talking a lot.
Of all the bigs after Phylon, Hannes is probably, I think he's number 2 on my list, on my big board list. Who I want. That's excluding Quaintance. I'm just taking note for the context.
He's moved up, yeah.
Yeah, I think Hannes to me is not so much his talent, and I'm viewing this in a way I shouldn't view it, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm viewing this in a way that I think can help the Raptors and Scotty and CMB because of what he could bring with his game. The rebounding numbers are very good for a freshman, 20 years old, good for like 11 rebounds a game in college basketball.
Hold on.
Julius Randle traded.
We got to trade, folks. We got to trade. I got to look this up.
Okay, what do we got here? Thank you for posting that.
Sorry, Coach. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
we
got breaking news, and we gotta
Oh,
break
I
this
see
down.
it here. Okay.
It's loading slowly on my part, so I'm sure
Would you like me to read it?
Go for it. Go for it.
Minnesota is sending Julius Randle and the 28th pick in the NBA draft to the Brooklyn Nets in a 3-team trade that sends Nick Claxton to the Bulls. The Timberwolves will acquire Brooklyn's number 33 pick for Randle and 28. So Claxton goes to the Bulls and Randle goes to the Nets. Brooklyn is not messing around.
Okay, so there's a few things. This is my first quick read on this, like live on the air, kind of a thing, and I'll give further when I thought of it. First thing is, it sounds and seems like there's two things that are happening here. It sounds like Minnesota's trying to get younger, but it also sounds like they might be potentially thinking of another trade that might happen soon, which is why they're acquiring 2 picks to get the assets to go flip those picks elsewhere. From a Brooklyn standpoint, again, with the lottery changes, teams want to get better and they can't tank. So Brooklyn's trying to get more competent. It also tells me from the Bulls standpoint that there's no chance that the Bulls take any sort of center at all. No.
The Bulls get Claxton. They get Jalen Smith.
They still have Patrick Williams, who's a hefty contract. I don't.
So the Bulls have the 4th pick. Would they go Claxton and Caleb? They got to select Caleb Wilson. They have to. You can't just.
Oh no, I'm talking about their second pick, the Cameron Carr pick.
Oh yeah.
That it may not be Cameron Carr, but yeah.
That might be. It depends on who's there.
But I just don't see them picking. I can see them picking a forward like a Dailyn Swain or something like that.
Yep,
I don't know if I see them necessarily now that they just acquire Claxton. I don't know if I see them also getting Claxton and a big. It's possible though. I mean, they do have Noah Senge who has to come along as well, but yeah,
That's an incredibly big line next front line. You got, I'm just going to all add him to this conversation, but you
and
got
PJ.
Claxton, Wilson, and Bucelis. That's a big front
Oh,
line.
Bulls. You mean okay?
Or the
Yeah.
Bulls, sorry. Yeah. And then in their guard play, they get Giddy and insert two guard. And I don't know.
Hmm.
That's a Anthony Simons. Maybe they're trying to bring
I
him
was
back.
gonna make a bad joke about Jaden
Oh,
Ivey, but I don't think he's gonna be returning. Let's put it that way.
yeah, he might not be returning, but
No, I don't think so. Giddy's on the block according to Spheres. Oh, okay, well, Josh Giddy is on the block, I guess. So yeah.
hmm.
So yeah, maybe they that could be a final destination then.
Oh, this is interesting. Someone tweeted out, and I think they're on to something. Do the
Uh,
Brooklyn Nets now look at Mara because they're down to center? They like him.
yeah, because they it depends on how they view Yegor.
Yeah, I guess if there's a guard, that'd be tough to pass up on a Cuff or Brown Jr.
Yeah,
But Mara now is on the board for them, in my opinion,
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like they might. Yeah, I agree. Like
because you could go
that's where they
Mara,
might go.
Randall, Porter, Yegor. That's Yeah, that's tough. That's a big front line next year if you go with Mara. Because right now you got Porter Jr. and Randall. You
Yeah,
need a passing big man because those two other dudes, they don't pass. Well, Randall's okay at passing, but they also like to have the ball. So I think Mara
yeah.
is now on the board for them 100%. It makes too much sense. He's got to be the guy there.
Which is why OKC is trying to trade up dramatically a lot right now with them
Yeah, well,
because
Brooklyn.
they would like more, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, and now they could use their other pick to maybe get some shooting. What's their other pick that they have? I think they get two picks, don't they?
The Nets,
Yeah, they got.
no, I don't think so. Like, I mean, in terms of the first round, they do not have another pick.
Oh, they don't. Okay, they just have the one pick.
They
Yeah.
have like picks in the second round. I think a lot of their picks come alive in the future.
Yes, unless they look to trade back with OKC, get 12 and 17, which that just
That's
if
a
you really,
far way back, though.
yeah,
But
if they really like Mara, just take him at 6.
yes,
But that's Brandon. Please, Brooklyn, take Pirtle off us. He's a passing big.
uh,
Uh,
did they get Claxton for free? I guess so. No, I mean they didn't get him for free. Um, but I think
the Bulls could take
again
on extra money.
the Bulls. Yeah, that's basically right now. You're in a situation where there's going to be a lot of jockeying around and going about, and part of that jockeying is because teams are trying to adjust to both the new cap environment as well as other types of things like the new you can't tank anymore, the new lottery environment as well.
Yeah.
We're also hearing buzz of guys like Malik Thomas going as high as 15. So again, for a Raptors squad, there are going to be some interesting guys that will be available for sure at their pick.
Yeah, because that they Timberwolves just dropped salary like that with Randall. They just dropped, I don't know, 30 something $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying. Yeah,
They're
you're
either trying
gonna.
to be a player in free agency or they're trying to whatever. So Bulls likely picking up. Well, that's where I'm saying, Effie, I agree. Like that's where it's like, okay, the Cameron Carr, dreams are real. Are the Wolves getting Tyler Hero? That could be a possibility, or they might be getting someone else like a John Morant. IQ for the Bulls. So what is Julius Randle making?
He's making third. I think he's got one of those descaling contracts. It's 30 something million. Like it's not bad for Randall.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what people are saying because he fits IQ fits. If it's only $30 million, then that's not a big enough. Hold on, I need to actually know what his salary is. So let me pull this up.
Yeah,
If
I'm
it's
looking at.
he makes just enough over IQ's money that a $33 million trade exception. People are right. It could absorb IQ. Yes, who makes 32 and a half.
So you're saying Minnesota could absorb that?
I'm going with what people are suggesting is that if it were a trade exception, a TPE, then in theory you could absorb the money. I agree though. This might just be money for IO who had an insane playoffs as well, or other things. I think also there yeah, but the dominoes are falling, folks.
And maybe they're just really trying to give Nas Reed that chance. You could play him next to Gobert. He stretches the D,
True, but
stretches
they
the
also
floor.
do have to pay IO. That is a good point.
Yeah, but Randall's making good money. Like he's got 33 million this year
Yep.
coming, which is just a million over IQ. By the way, people, Randall averaged 25, 7, and 6 this year. Just to let you know.
Yes.
And then in 2027, he's got that player option for 35 million, which I think he'll exercise because he'll be 32 years old by that point.
But
No
the thing
point in him
is,
going free agency.
with Io DeSumo, I don't know if they have to necessarily do that though. Yeah, just for argument's sake, because I don't see him making more than say $20 million. He did well, but like I don't see him making like So, anyways, it's just me. I do know that they want to kind of shave off some of the money there. So yeah. As for Tyler Hero, I don't really see him as the right type of guard for what they're looking for. He would help them, but I don't think that that's what they're looking for. But if he ends up there, shout out to you, man, for getting that one
Yeah,
right.
I'm just reading here from Joe Wolfon. Joe
Yeah.
Wolfon, who talks to the talks some basketball. Tax crunch, big factor, but trade Carl
Yep.
Towns for a dude who you then trade it down in the draft to get rid of 2 years later. That's a tough look, and he's right.
It certainly is a tough look. Yeah.
And Randall had some
It
good
is.
moments. He really did, but hard to say that he did better than Towns in that deal. Like I get the deal for both sides to want to try something different. Actually, I didn't get it for Minnesota at the time because they were like a couple of games away from the NBA Finals. Towns, I didn't
Yes.
quite get that, but I get it. For New York,
Can we loop ourselves into a Giannis trade to grab Derek White? I'm good. No thanks. I'm
I don't
not
see
saying
it.
that Derek White is not. He's a really good player. He's not the right player for us, and I think we can. He's. Yeah, I kind of think he's overrated in some ways. Like he works on a specific team. One of the things that they missed was having another ball handler who's more of a point guard, and Drew Holiday. We saw that this year, right?
And we would
And
have
that's a problem
offered
with him.
them. We offered them RJ and 9 for White, which would have been C and B. Boston must be
Uh,
kicking themselves a little bit for
for
hard,
what?
hard to say because I mean, see, it's not so much a RJ for White; it's the C and B additive aspect to this.
Even then, I said trading that pick was too much for Derek White, who's like, what, 32, 34 years old?
No, he's probably in his early 30s. Like, yeah, that is a bit much
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I'm like,
for RJ, who's 25, and C and B, who's 20.
yeah, well, even ignore RJ just for a second.
Yeah,
It's an eighth overall pick in last year, what was viewed as one of the best drafts of the past decade or of a couple decades. Usually, you're not doing that for a guy who's 32, who's like, you know what I mean?
yeah. Boy, though,
He's 31, but he's soon to be 32, folks. Like in like literally 2 weeks. So
This
He's
is
32.
interesting though because the Atlantic again just get a little bit better after tonight now with Randall and Porter and whoever they draft at sixth. I'm going to assume it's Mara at this point because you don't get center. I don't think
Yeah.
they're going to play Danny Wolf at center, and they shouldn't. The,
No.
the, the Atlantic
No.
Division just got better after this trade.
It's going to continue to get better too because I don't think that they're willing to trade Michael Porter Jr.
They
Now
shouldn't.
with the new rules of the lottery because they can't tank anymore. So yeah,
No.
yeah, they wanted another first. Yeah, yeah. Well, that too. They wanted another first, but like even RJ plus 9 is ridiculous. I'm sorry now.
Yeah. No,
Mara
it's
at 9 is, or sorry, at 6 is high. I mean, it is, but I mean, like, okay, so he's being talked about at 8. It's 2 spots. You take a guy higher up, um, based on who they have on their roster. Like, do they? It really comes down to do they see Darius Acuff as like their guard of the future, or do they like Jaguar? They might say like we really like Jaguar, we want. And to be fair, Brooklyn literally not only has Jaguar, they have Nolan
Priori.
Traore, and I think they drafted some other schmo.
Oh, Ben Saraf. I don't know if I'm saying his name
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that is it.
The
Who is
lefty. He
like,
played in the German league. Yeah.
yeah, who is a pseudo guy who kind of plays combo guardy, but is like taller. So, I mean, it really just depends. Um, like I hear you, Brandon Lee, but 7-3 is 7-3, and 7-3 on a with a guy who literally just won the NCAA championship as the center. They don't teach. You don't teach height.
Yeah.
Um, I see why they would go in either direction.
Yeah. No, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm now looking at Mara. You have to. You need a center. 7-3, 7-3, as you just said. He's a very good passer. He's shooting threes. He can. And I'm just like, you might be able to make that work with Brando Porter. And excuse me, to make that work, you need a passing big, someone with a lot of skill for those two.
Yes.
So Mara should be their pick, in my opinion. Big trade.
Um,
That's the biggest trade yet.
it is. Do you want to talk about the Atlanta Hawks trade for a second? I'm just going to
Yeah, sure.
quickly grab something called agua.
Agua.
And I'll be right back.
I don't know what water is in French. Someone can type in for me.
Isn't it low?
I have no idea. Anyway, yes, we had a deal with OKC in
It's
Atlanta.
I was close.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry. I'll
yes,
be right back.
Aaron Wiggins has been moved to the Hawks for a couple of second round picks, I believe. And it's good for Atlanta. OKC's trying to shed salary right now, probably roster spots too, because they get like a couple of first round picks. So you're going to have to uh, make a roster spot available, especially for 12 and 17. I mean, you're going to get someone who's probably going to be better than Aaron Wiggins. And Aaron Wiggins had his moments, especially last year. He didn't do a whole lot this year, but um, yeah, I think with OKC, they'll look to draft. They got lots of options there at 12. Good options, too. If I was them, I'm looking at Nate Ahman, maybe Johnson, Morez Johnson, if he's there. That would be scary. Have him in Chet or him in Hartenstein if they decide to keep him. But OKC, they just have so many options. And Wiggins going to Atlanta, it's another decent small move for them. Last year they got NAW, Most Improved Player of the Year. Good player. He became a really good player, I should say. Now you're adding Wiggins. I'll just read some of the questions here. I cannot click them. That has to be Kenyon. Brandon, can we trade with OKC to move up possibly? Can we? I think that would mean we'd have to include a future pick. I don't want to do that. I don't think Grady's value is that high. I actually mentioned it to Ask because Ask made a comment on something. I was talking about Steinbach and Sabonis. I basically just said, well, if you like Sabonis so much, why don't you just make the move to go get Steinbach? He's going to be cheaper, younger, healthier. Sabonis coming off big knee injury, and if you want Sabonis so bad, just take Steinbach. But I don't think I don't think the value of 19 and Grady is enough to move up with OKC. And if it's just a spot or two, that's not gonna do it for me. It would for 12. You got me at pick 12, that's for sure.
What I
If it's
miss?
there. Brandon Lee asked a question: can we trade with OKC to move up? Possibly. I just said it's probably not going to work. Like I'm not going to move up and move Grady to move up 2 spots. Like you really have to be locked in on somebody if you're going to do that. And I don't know if OKC is going to want to do that.
I would do it if it's Phylon, and that's the only way that you're going to get Phylon. But I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think that there's still other guys that could be available. So
yeah.
I lean against it.
Hmm.
I don't mind trading Grady to move up, but I agree.
Yes.
You'd
Someone
have to
asked.
move up to at least 15. Like if you could move up to 15.
Yeah, I'd have to
Now,
get into the
yeah,
top 15 at least.
yeah. I think 15 is like where you're because like if you're just gonna do the same crap with Brady, you're wasting your time anyways. At least you
Yeah.
can get like you could guarantee that you'll get a better thing. Again, though, I'm not trading this year's pick and Grady. I'm saying like if it was say Grady and like next year's pick, so then you're taking two guys. Because imagine walking away from this draft with say Phylon and Hannes, or Christian Anderson and Hannes, or
If you
Christian
walked away
Anderson
with
and JQ.
Yeah, I mean, you've come away with a very good draft. The Raptors won't do that because this front office, I find, doesn't think that way. They don't
Sure,
think about, hey, that's a guy who can help us out now. But
sure.
they have the classic answer. Well, we like where we're at, and we're gonna stay here, and the value is too much to move up, which might be true. The value might just be too much. Guys, the draft is tomorrow, the first round anyway.
Yes, but yes, draft stream on Wednesday night. Yes, and draft stream on Tuesday night when I get home. I usually watch the first with the guys, so I like being there in person. But I will be streaming the whole thing, second round,
Yeah.
from my room.
I may be
But
doing a draft stream tomorrow potentially. I'll let people know.
for sure,
A lot, I've never done one before, so I always kind of wanted to try and see myself. But yeah, I'll let people know though if I'm able to do it.
absolutely. But to play the hypothetical, I'm just speaking for myself. If there was a trade to move up to 15 and it was Grady in a future first and they could keep their own first, I think you do it. There's you can quibble about the protections on the pick and all that kind of stuff. I think that's obviously a no-brainer thing to do.
Sorry, what was that trade?
The trade that I was talking about that you said that wouldn't happen. I'm just saying to play to kind of see it through the hypothetical. Um, yeah, I think Grady and a second pick because then you can if you could essentially get two picks in this draft in the top 19 or top 20. Especially if you're getting one in the 15th where you can guarantee you could solidify for argument's sake, let's say a LeBaron, and then you go with your pick. You're picking, say, Senac. You feel a lot better about picking Senac now because he has a guard to really pair with. Or for argument's sake, because you're trading Grady, maybe it's you're getting a guard plus you're getting Dailyn Swain, for example. You know,
Yeah.
he's the forgotten man. We hadn't gotten to the forwards, which is I was really going to talk about Swain and Alan Graves,
Yeah.
who my issue with Alan Graves is mainly just beyond him being slower. he really struggles at the rim. I mean, he's shooting 52% at the rim. So for a guy who's 6'8" or whatever, they're talking about, oh, maybe he could be small ball five. I don't want a small ball five that can't finish at the rim. Shout out to the Jays, by the way, with Brandon Lee pointing that out. So yeah.
Graves is a perfect fit in San Antonio. Totally perfect fit. You could play him next to Wemby because again, you just said the numbers at the rim aren't good, but you don't have to worry
you see
about
how you're
that.
trying to pawn the stuff that you don't want on San Antonio.
I am trying to send them Graves and not send them Quaytons for the short percentage that Quayton's knee is fine.
I see how you work, man. I see how you work. Um, yeah. So I let's just answer some of these questions, and then we'll get back, folks. If a Giannis trade pops off, please tell me. Don't let me miss out on this. This is important
Yes, let us know.
moment in time, of course. Um, Basketball rewind. Yeah, we were just talking about a hypothetical of like, would you trade Grady and a future first, protected, of course, to move up in this draft? And my personal thing is yes, you would. But obviously, we're talking about. For argument's sake, I just said the 15th overall pick. You could even say the 16th overall pick, just for argument's sake. Yeah.
Trade you doing?
Yeah.
Here's a trade I would consider, and I would talk to. I've spoken to Kenyon about this. Again, this guy isn't at the top of my. I want him on this team, but it's one that I would consider. It's the John Morant deal. If it's Quickly and Grady for Morant and number 32, there's my second pick. You're going to get someone that might fall to the second round. It's not perfect,
Yeah.
but I don't. It's not a trade that I might be like, oh, what a terrible deal, blah blah blah. I mean, you know, I don't know what the shooting will look like afterwards, but you have to. If I could keep 19 and then get 32, and I've just drafted shooters,
Yeah.
your talent has gone up. That's for sure.
This is a good point, by the way, that I'm seeing, which is by Giovanni. This is a neat idea. You look at something like the picks that the OKC has, and now would be a good time to say, okay, OKC, maybe you don't pick both those picks because of roster spots, and we'll buy the 17th pick, let's say, essentially from you with a pick, and we'll basically do a pick swap. This is one pick, from us for the 17th overall pick. Our pick might be, a protected pick, of course. What do you think of that?
Sorry, what was that last part again?
Basically, do a pick swap with OKC by just forget about Grady, but you're using a future pick, I presume, of
You're
your
doing
own.
19 for 17?
Nope. Future first for their 17th overall pick.
Our future first for their 17th. Consider it. I don't know if we do it.
Yeah, I would do it. The next year's draft is not supposed to be as good. The other thing is you're trying to answer as many questions. So you keep talking about roster balance. Everyone keeps talking about roster balance. That's a way that you can. And OKC just has a lot of picks, and they keep punting them back year over year. I'd like to get one of those picks and get and just solidify two really solid prospects in our range. That would be good. Yeah, I feel I'm sorry about that. But you know what? We'll see. We'll see what the Pelicans. It's still early yet. It's still early, so don't lose hope. Don't say that the Pelicans are going to be that way. You have a healthy Dejounte Murray, my friend, who will lead you
Well, you know
to
what?
some sort of gritty promised land.
You got Fierce and you got Queen. I know you get Trey Murphy. You should keep him, but if you are going to trade him, you're going to get 3 or 4 picks from some team.
Yes.
I was
You also still have Zion for whatever it's worth.
For what it's worth, yeah.
It's very entertaining.
I was telling Kenyon and our co-host Beyond at the trade deadline, there's only one guy would have traded multiple firsts for at the deadline. That's Trey Murphy.
Yep.
Anyone else?
A little bit pricey, but yeah.
No. Yeah. I'm not doing multiple picks for Sabonis or Anthony Davis. No. Murphy, he's under 25 or 25 and under. I'm willing to do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna clean some of this stuff up, and then let's go through some mock drafts. Let's review some mock drafts and go from there. So we're gonna start with probably CBS Sports. Also, breaking news is that Giannis is still a buck, but
What a shot.
Giannis is the Celtics are going all in, have gone all in on Giannis, whatever that means.
Yep.
This is our real offer. The last offers, those were not real. This is the real offer. I would assume that that means that Brown is because the rumored package for the Heat is Tyler Hero, Jaime Hawkes, and Khalil Ware and picks. I just don't see the Celtics being successful without packaging Brown. I know that they've talked about it. I think it's really difficult for them to do a deal to get Giannis and not have Brown on their roster. It's just very, very
Yeah.
difficult to do.
Yeah. Look, Milwaukee. If Milwaukee got Brown, like they might be good enough next year to go 500. Like they don't want to do that. They need to be bad next year. If you're losing Giannis, just be bad. Get your picks for the future. Get some prospects, and in 3 years you'll find yourself back in the hunt again.
So I have the thing up, but I'm gonna scroll a bit down because for whatever reason the ad says something about a fungus with foot parasites and stuff like that on CBS. I don't
Oh,
think people want
lovely.
to see that. Um, I don't know what's going on with these ads these days. Better than gambling ads, though, folks. Either way, stay safe because you do not want to get fungus on your foot or parasites. Could be because of the parasitology class or something. But, anyways, point is where was it saying? Yeah. Brandon Lee says he asked a Pistons fan if they would include Asar Thompson Asar Thompson in a Trey Murphy trade. Look, it depends. If you're giving up Asar Thompson and a whole bunch of picks, that's tough. Asar Thompson just got all defense, if I'm not mistaken, this year. If not, he played like an all defensive guy. He was that level of good. He was their best perimeter defender. And Trey Murphy he's come off a year where he was kind of hurt the year before because of injuries that have slowed down his defense. So he is good. Don't get me wrong, I like him. He can create his own offense and he would be useful. But if they can find, there might be other things that they can get. Say, for example, they can get Tyler Hero without giving up Asar Thompson. That might be more beneficial. So I'm not mad at it. And also, to be fair, um, every single team's fans will have moments in general, for the most part, where you overvalue your own stuff. Um, so yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I would have laughed too. Like I'm not trading Trey Murphy for. I would need more than just Thompson. Thompson's good, but
this I agree with. Um, Not necessarily in that order though, but yeah. And I also do like Acquaintance as well. One other thing, I don't know if I would trade Grady for a second rounder. I would try. I think that that's a waste of a Grady pick. I would try to trade Grady with something and move off of him for something. But yeah, that's just me. I'm probably alone on that on this podcast today. Um, but I just feel like if they don't value Grady or whatever, especially say they get let's make the argument for Swain, and then we're whatever. If they go for a guy like Swain, right? Let's get a closer look. If they go for a guy like Swain, right? I think that the important thing about Swain is that you have to create space for him somehow, and that would have to be a guy like Grady. We have not talked about Swain yet on this show. We have on Basketball Rewind as a whole, but
yeah,
yeah. So where I would say Swain could factor in why Swain is interesting to me is that Swain provides playoff skills right ready to go. He can create his own shot in multiple ways. He can attack the hoop, and he finishes at the hoop as good as most big men. He's finishing around a 70 to 71% level at the hoop. So imagine RJ, but with an 80% free throw rate and actually finishing above 60% around the rim. What does that look like to you?
Uh, well, certainly it gives them like another wing cutter
Sorry,
slasher. He's got good handles. I really like his handles. Actually, I think they're kind of underrated. Swain, 3-year college player. He's basically doing what RJ does. It's more or less, except he obviously would be cheaper, and I think he's. I don't know if he'll be stronger than RJ, but there might be a little bit more defensive upside there. Maybe better, more athleticism.
True.
Like he is more slithery than RJ was is. RJ can get to the hoop basically when he wants in some sense, but uh, there are times though that does look awkward from him. And you know I'm an RJ fan, but I can tell. I'm going to say sometimes it's awkward with RJ when we go to the hoop.
Um, why would the Celtics pass on Turner if they want to contend? Because they have Vucevic, first of all,
Free
and
agent.
exactly, and second of all is about the Benjamins. They don't want to necessarily pay that. You say you're a good old acquaintance. Hey man, teach their own. Okay, let's go into this. I'm just trying to add this mock draft. Also, folks, like, comment, and subscribe, or like and subscribe the video. It helps a lot. So yeah. Baba Miller is someone that's interesting. I have not really spent too much time around the 50th pick of this draft as guys have gone back. But yeah, let me just make
I
this
like the
screen.
Nielsen kid at 50. What is his name again? I have to look him up. I think he's still on here.
There we go.
The
Folks, can you
Raptors
see
work.
the screen?
The Raptors work
Sorry,
remote
coach.
anyway. Yeah, I see it.
Um, okay. I need to address. Giovanni is asking a question, and then Giovanni, we're going to go through this mock draft. So, final question for a second about trades and stuff like that and other teams. Okay, so they're going to trade for Giannis. I think they keep Turner. I don't think Turner's part of this deal for with Giannis. Okay, if you have Vucevic, you have he's not a rim protector. Giannis is a former defensive player of the year, I believe, a two-time defensive player of the year. Am I getting that wrong, Tim or Coach?
No, I think it is. I think he is.
Okay, so he's top tier talent. I think that solidifies their inside and out game. I think we can kind of move on from this. And also from a money standpoint, I don't think they want to add another expensive thing if they even get Turner in this deal. Okay. All right. I'm assuming that people can see the screen. If you cannot, please let me know so that I can make the effective adjustmts to make it a pleasurable viewing experience for you. It looks decent to me. Okay, so you have Finkelstein and Salerno. Okay, so uh, AJ DeBanza versus Peterson at number one. Anything, coach, stop me anytime. Anytime you find something is interesting, stop me.
Well,
Just
that is
interrupt.
interesting just by itself because they each have a different first overall pick, which goes to show how this draft is changing by the day. It was Tabanza for a while, and now Peterson's workouts are becoming a little bit more public. They do see like, oh my gosh, this guy's got a ton of talent, which he does. The only question with Peterson was availability. We just didn't know like, does this guy want to play? Is he too much about himself? Is he? But if he's serious about, yeah, I want to be the guy. I'm ready to be a franchise guy and help out the Wizards and help out Trey Young and and Sar, potentially AD, then I would understand them taking Peterson over Devanza. A lot of
Hmm.
there's like he's got like Anthony Edwards upside. He's really good. It just there's just a few questions about the availability aspect.
Now, you guys brought up an interesting idea, which is trying to pick one of Washington's guys. Giovanni, we actually talked about you're missing. Yes, Randall was traded to the Nets. We did talk about that. And Raptors have been rumored to be circling and interested in Turner, so that could be the
Mm-hmm.
thing. But in this, yeah, I mean, if you're Trey, not Murphy, if you're Trey Johnson or Bilal Koulibaly, who I think that they're more apt to try to trade, but realistically, I think teams would want Trey Johnson. Bob Carrington also may be interesting. I don't know if he's interesting to you at all, Coach, but those are guys that might be falling out of favor or might be falling out of lineups in Washington. So to me,
Yeah,
that would be the next place that I go. Um,
I would love
and
to
Coach
grab one of those wing players though. It was Johnson or George. I'd love to grab one of them. It's not going to happen, but
George is not going to happen. Johnson is a maybe. We'll see.
or Riley, same thing.
Yes. Um, yeah. All right. So Cam Boozer is third for everyone. I think we can kind of keep it moving. They just traded Jaron Jackson. I've said it so many times. Bulls get the best of what's rest. Now I have heard some people say the Bulls should maybe trade back like 2-3 spot. No, they should do this. This is a good move.
Yeah, no, take Caleb Wilson or Boozer, whoever falls. I only say that I think Boozer will go to Memphis, but I heard Iman Shumpert say today on NBA Today, like he's like, I like Wilson at 3. I think his game's going to translate well better to the NBA. And there's part of me I agree with him. I just Booster had an unbelievable college season. Some of the weight gain's a little concerning. That lack of athleticism compared to what he had in high school is a little concerning. But I think at the end of the day, you have to go with Boozer, probably over Wilson.
Yep. Yeah. So Gio got to the point that I actually said as well, which is that again, now with Claxton coming here to the Bulls after Caleb Wilson. First of all, if anyone thought that they would trade back and get Mara, probably not going to happen.
Nope.
They'd be kind of that would be an odd move. But the other thing too is that the Bulls. Caleb Wilson just makes so much sense, and for their pick later on that we will get to, I just don't see. I don't see a center. The next is that this is actually an updated mock draft because before these two were different guys. Keaton Wagler seems to be the guy that's honing in here. He's more of a combo guard than a point guard. They have him as a point guard. He's a combo guard in my opinion. I don't know if you disagree with that, but he's
No,
more
he
of a
is.
combo guard. Yeah.
I am going to say one thing though, and I have to make a slight change. I'm going to tell
Mm.
the audience this. Ade Mara will not go past 6. He's going 5 or he's going 6 because the Clippers have an argument to take him as well after trading Zubac.
Yes. So that was going to be one of the things I think I was going to cover later on at some point. I think
Oh,
it's a great
beat you to
point.
the
No, no, no,
punch.
no, no, no. I think it's great, Coach. And I think I've even put it in some message boards here and there. I agree. I 100% agree. Because to your point, they just traded a center. They're in the West. They've seen what just happened. They may want some size again, and I don't think them re-signing John Collins is going to do it. Who I believe is in his final year of no, he's not in a final. He should be a free agent actually. So yeah. What was I going to say? Okay, so yeah, so Sacramento, Darius LeCuff or Mikael Brown Jr. I think I more see Mikael Brown Jr. going here or Adamara, as you said. I don't see Mara going to Sacramento Kings. It's not the worst thing, but I just don't see them doing that. It seems like they've honed in on wanting a guard. And so yeah, no arguments
There's a
there.
there's a if you're looking to trade Sabonis, depending on what you're getting back, there would be an
Yeah,
argument for Mara, but I think Mara's going to go 5 or 6 now. He definitely. I don't think he's going past 6. I don't think Brooklyn will pass up on him.
which means that if he goes up that high, then one of Mikhail Brown. Then let's just assume that Mikhail Brown ends up as a Hawk. I think it makes the most amount of sense.
McCollum, NAW, they got maybe.
McCollum's there for 1 year though, and he's not a guard. Like he's a more of a shooting guard.
Yeah, they played him
Um,
though as a point guard, but yeah.
yes, as did New Orleans as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that they've also outlined, at least what we've seen signaled so far, is that they're really interested in a point guard, and that they are willing to, because of this trade that the Hawks did, they're actually capped out. So they probably be on the lookout for the Hawks to trade their second pick. Not sure what for, but yeah,
Yeah.
they have a pick in the 20s. So I think the 23rd
Yeah,
pick.
that could be a pick that gets moved.
Yeah, so at that point, do you see Morez Johnson going to Dallas
Yes,
or
it's
Braden
possible.
Burris?
I either of my guys goes to play with Cooper Flag. Beyond better be happy about that. he'll be more
True.
happier with Burries.
True,
But
true, true, true,
I
true.
think he'd understand Johnson too, because if you got Lively, Johnson, and Flag in your front court defensively, that's really good.
So Nate Almond, Bucks.
Where
I think it makes sense. Good upside,
Yep,
solid upside.
there's
Yeah.
some upside. I know Kingston Flemings has just been the guy who's going to Milwaukee for the last 2 months now, ever since the lottery. But Ahmed also makes some sense too.
So in this scenario, as we're walking through, you notice that I've just subtly pushed Kingston Flemings down. Now you realize that.
Yeah,
So already, like Kingston Flemings, I mean, if he makes it past Dallas, do you? I don't know if I see Milwaukee. I mean, we'll have to see what happens with the Giannis trade, but do I see Milwaukee taking Kingston Flemings? Possibly. They do have Ryan Rollins. That doesn't mean that they're locked into Ryan Rollins.
right. Steph
Um,
Curry, Gold State had Monte Ellis and they took Steph Curry. So
yes. Now, again, I will also point out that as that happens, that also pushes Braden Burries down, also pushes other guys down.
you would.
So as one guy moves up or two guys move up, you know, it already pushed Mikhail Brown Jr. You can now see like Philon Also and some of these other guys have been pushed down further. But I think Golden State, if Morez Johnson doesn't go for Dallas, he might go down here as well. I do think Dallas would be interesting if they went for like a Braden Burries as well. So yeah,
I would love to see Burris. He's the guy I want to see in Dallas with Flag. And you know what? If they do pass on him, Milwaukee should not pass up on Braden Burris because you can use a dynamic guard play in Milwaukee now. Post Giannis.
over Nate Emmett.
I would, yeah. I trust. Oh
Okay.
yeah, I take Burris over Ahmed. Yeah.
Okay, I don't disagree. Especially yeah, yeah. I don't see Nate Emmett going to Golden State in that case.
Uh, well, Steph Curry, still Draymond.
Then
Could see an argument.
there's a world, but I feel like if Yaxel is there,
Good
right,
point.
it's hard to pass up on Yaxel. Now, you did say, and you made a good point. Nate Emmett could fit for that thing of the future, but it seems like Steve Kerr doesn't like to play players that are not quite ready. We'll say so. That's where Yaxel also fits in a little bit
Oh
nicely.
yeah, he'd play. He'd be better that way. But I think your next one is
I mean,
OKC.
didn't what's his name? Pazinski literally just said we need to, like literally 2 days ago. I'm like, who is you, dude? But we need
Yeah,
to, he wants Golden State to draft players that are more ready to compete. So we'll see. Yaxel made it all the way down on Finkelstein's thing to OKC again. If Yaxel, if One of the Michigan guys will be taken by OKC.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Yaxel, Burries, Amen. I think they're going to all be in that range.
Yeah.
That's like a
Um,
tier of themselves that pass like 8 to 12 range. That some guys are definitely going to go.
yeah. I missed it. Yeah, I like your Corey stamp though. Corey is on the board for me. He's not the highest, but if you like a Corey, I mean, I know that you like real hoopers, man, and Corey is a real hooper. I'll say that.
He's my favorite of the three guards in that tier of him, Anderson, and Sturts.
Yes. Now, if Mara makes it all the way to OKC, that's as far as he will go. But yeah, I agree with what's being said. Again, as I said, a Michigan guy is probably going to go to OKC for sure. Um, Now, Hannes Steinbach at the Heat. Do you see that? He can play next. That would help out Bam.
Yeah,
It could also move Jaime Jaquez more into a because he likes to slash and stuff like that, but more into where the role that Wiggins is going to be, and Wiggins gets moved in whatever deal that they're going to plan on doing with
I
Wiggins.
could see that if they're not sold on where, and they might
Mm.
not be. Steinbach is insurance for them. It's
Yeah,
weird
and
with this.
he can play with Ware too.
Yeah, he could play with Bam. I think that's what
Yeah,
I'd be more
he could
looking
also
at.
play with
But
Bam.
I think I'm curious to see what Miami's going to do with this because they're not like. Yeah, I don't like Perez Johnson would be excellent there in Miami. Put him next to Bam. Like you can, you could do that. You could put him next to
Yep.
Ware as well. But
Do you see Hannes getting picked by then Charlotte in this case then?
I do. I could possibly see that.
So we'll say that's one of the later that he will go. So already you're kind of again we're still pushing guys down because once those Michigan guys move up, you know it's like if Steinbach goes before that us then uh, or Steinbach sorry then as other guys move down it's kind of hard to see what's available. Um, or sorry, it's kind of hard to see guys not be available. I should say. Cameron Carr, I've always said Bulls is the thing, and it looks more and more the case that the Bulls will be taking him. This
Oh,
is
that'd be a
interesting.
great pick for them right now. Actually, if they get,
Yep.
well, let's see, Claxton, Bucelis,
Mm-hmm.
Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
Carr,
Mm-hmm.
Giddy.
Mm-hmm.
You're working with something. Someone's gonna develop. Someone
Unless
needs to become
Giddy's
number
on the
one.
Giddy's on the block reportedly, but
Yeah,
say
I
they
don't
keep.
know.
I think that they'll keep Giddy. They just want to see his value.
I think it's that. I'm like, is their team's going to be jumping, at the door to get Giddy? I don't know.
So right now, so far, as you're coming up on the Raptors, without you going to Chris Senak, there's still like Phylon would be available. Swain, if he gets picked this high up, um, that would push down. Basically, what I'm trying to get at is by the time you get to either in this case, someone is saying, one is saying Alan Graves, the other one saying Abuka Corey. Uh,
Yeah.
you have options at this pick.
By that time, you do. Yeah, you get Sinak. I guess if you want to say Graves,
Starts.
Lopez, Sturts, uh, Reed, Quaintance, potentially. You certainly got lots of options. Malik Thomas, he's someone working for the Raptors. He might be one of those guys. He's just a lights out shooter.
Yeah.
Swain,
Swain should not fall all the way to Denver. I've heard that Denver reportedly is interested, but like he should not fall all the way to Denver this way. Denver wants him; they should have to
no.
go get him. Um, he's just too talented of a player to let him fall to this. I agree with this that I see a hard time like whoever's left, whether it's Senak or Quaintance or someone else, the Lakers are picking a big man. And then so yeah, so there's Gary Parrish. Okay, so let's go through this quickly. We're kind of at the same kind of thing right here. Not really a lot of difference in what we're seeing. Yaxel. I can actually see this. I can see Yaxel ending up, if he drops this far, I can see Yaxel ending up going to the Heat. And then, as you see, guys are getting pushed down. This guy has, I think this is Gary, has us taking Quaintance, and the other guy has Sturts going there. So,
Yeah.
all right, we're going to keep going along and just see Swain and Sturts. So you can see our range is just crazy. I don't know if I see Christian Anderson going to the Bulls. And Abuka Okori falling all the way to the Celtics. The Celtics may not have this pick, first of all. So let's just get that straight.
Yes.
Because I'm guessing that it is now, folks. Yeah, see this. We don't need to see foot fungus. That's why I scrolled really fast down. I don't know what's going on. Hey, people have their different call it advertisements that pop up. For whatever reason, I get foot fungus. Okay,
You foot
don't know
fungus.
why. But yeah, that and Uber Freight. So
I get
yeah,
whatever I'm talking about. That shows up on my ads. Whatever I'm talking about.
I
know
do
loud.
talk about parasites a lot, so it could be related to that. Unironically, but yeah. Uh,
Oh, we're at 2 hours. Wow.
we are at 2 hours, Coach. Do you have another two? No, I'm just kidding.
Man,
Like folks,
I got like 2 minutes maybe left in me.
yeah, no. I'm not gonna go for another like hour even. But Coach, be prepared. You might have to wake up if Giannis gets traded.
Yeah, I might have to. I might have to wake up if Pirtle gets traded.
That too. Oh, I'm
If
definitely waking you up for that.
if
Question.
RJ if RJ gets traded, just don't message me tomorrow. I'm in mourning.
Everyone's favorite podcaster uh, made a comment recently. Okay, and he said that he joined the Warriors. This is Kevin Durant, and that he joined the Warriors because they were underdogs. What do you think of that?
And that's just what Biden says malarkey.
I think it's the most ridiculous thing that the man's ever
Yeah,
said,
that's
and he
just
says some ridiculous things. The Warriors had just won a championship right before then, and were just in the finals the year before, beating him. What is he talking about? That they were underdogs.
yeah, that's just baloney. It's garbage. Not
I feel like this
underdogs.
is a. I'm not a fan of him, but Stephen A. Smith will always have the stay off the or lay off
The
the
weed.
weed.
Yes. No, it's
Yeah.
does Charles Barkley join the Bulls after he beats them? Or after the Bulls beat Phoenix? Like, you know what? I'm gonna go join Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen now. Yeah, it's
Yeah. To answer your thing, it really just depends. If it's Turner, they want to get off Turner. They might be willing to take a pick. I don't think it will be two. I have no idea. I'm not going to hyper speculate. If it costs two picks to get off Jakob, you don't do it. But again, it might just be like, hey, they get Grady and they get Jakob, and that alone buys them a little bit for this upcoming year. That would buy them actually. Because his new deal hasn't kicked in because he technically opted into the last deal. His money. There's a world where they might actually do it, and it actually gets them off Turner's money. I think a year earlier or something like that. I'm not looking at the deal right now, but
yeah, that's why they'd have to send an unprotected pick because
yeah.
Turner money gets up. But
But
even
they
Turner,
may not have to send two. Is my point.
yeah,
And it
no,
might be in the future.
I would consider one maybe, but Turner
Yeah,
though,
two is a no.
like Turner's not a good rebounder. This team is already
Oh hell no.
this team's already bottom 20. I think they were 18, 19 in rebounding. Like if
Yes.
you're going to have to jump up to the top 12, the top 10 to try to get to the next level. And that's why I don't mind a guy like Steinbach because I know he's going to rebound. Sabonis will rebound too, but I don't want to pay $45 million for him this year.
Would Turner fit with Quaintance though? I think so because Turner can also play the four. It's not pretty,
Yeah.
but I mean that's just his style of play, anyways.
Yeah, I wasn't
He's
really.
he's
Oh,
basically like a supercharged version of Mama, who's also paid like a supercharged version of Mama.
yeah.
In theory, in theory. Um, yeah.
I would
Just
give
trying to
them. I
think.
would consider giving them a protected 2027 pick. Like I got to have it like some protections on that pick.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's when I say unprotected, like light protections or whatever. But point is that I I don't mind. That's I. It's not my preferred, but I don't mind moving. Getting. I don't mind the Raptors getting Turners. I guess what I'm trying to say. But if they do it, it needs to be Jakob is likely going out, and then
Yes.
you kind of say you go in free agency and you pick up Robert Williams. Okay, now you have a front court that is manageable, that like makes sense or whatever. It's not perfect because it's a little bit touch and go in some ways, but yeah. If Giannis gets moved right now, would I stay another hour or two? I will speak for myself and not for Coach. If
I
Giannis
will
gets
not. I would
traded,
not be.
yeah, okay, so you're out. If
I'm,
Giannis is traded in the next 5 minutes, I will stay for an hour. Okay, I will set a timer, and if I will be here for 5 minutes, and if he's traded in 5 minutes, I will be here for an hour. Otherwise, I will not be here for an hour.
yeah.
So yeah.
What if it's RJ in the 2027 pick for Turner? Would you do it? No. You can't have Pirtle and Turner on this team.
Um, Here's the thing: if it's RJ and a 2027 pick, I'm assuming that the 2027 pick is coming for RJ because the reality is that you're helping Milwaukee cut salary.
Mm.
And Turner did not have a great year last year. He is a depressed asset. I think RJ is an expiring, and RJ is coming off a solid playoffs. I'm not overvaluing RJ in doing that. All I'm saying is that, like, yes, the money works, but yeah, definitely not no pick.
No.
It's a waste of that's a waste. I think you can get better things for RJ and just wait for that type of move. If that's what you want to do.
Yeah, it's probably for more of someone with star quality. Like
Yeah.
it's RJ and something else significant to get
That's
that
at least be a
player.
lateral move. That's not a lateral move. That's just giving away a pick for the sake of giving
Yeah,
away a pick.
it's no.
No. That's why we're talking about Pirtle. It's just like yeah. But yeah. But the reality is that Pirtle's probably going to be here. Bobby Portis is someone that might be interesting. I just don't know if they see him as they want someone to like shepherd in the new thing of Milwaukee Buck people. Do you see? Wait, is Giannis's brothers under contract still?
I don't know. Don't
Because that
worry,
would
they're
be
going over the
hilarious.
door of Giannis is gone. So
So is you. No, because if they are under contract, that is hilarious. Yeah, maybe we find out that Giannis was holding his brothers back.
yeah, I would stay an extra hour if Giannis get traded to like the Raptors or something. But you know,
No, no.
if he's good, it's looking like I think he'll go to Boston. I think
I think
that's
so
the
too.
move that makes the most
I've been saying that for a
sense.
while too.
Yeah.
I think Boston has the most amount of assets to give, makes the most sense. But yeah, if Giannis gets traded, folks, and I'm still awake, I will do another live. Uh, if I'm not awake, then I'll just do something tomorrow. So yeah, but yeah, Coach, I think it's getting to that time. I think we've done a pod, folks.
I
Like
think we have.
and comment and subscribe. Um, any final words and chat? I will continue to reach out. I mean, because Coach, I'm going to let you go, but chat. I will speak to y'all for another 2 more minutes before I head. But
Yeah.
Coach, that was a pod. Thank you for coming on. Any
Yeah.
final words from you?
Well, this draft, it's so hard to tell who they might select at 19. It just depends on who falls at this point. Jacoby fell to them at 19. Uh, at the time, people could argue Grady fell to the Raptors at 13 because Grady was mocked in the top 8, 9 pick at that time. But I think it just depends on who's going to fall, who's going to be there. I think a guy like Sinak will be there. I think Sturts will be there. I think
Yep.
Corey will be there. I think Anderson will be there. It's Swain, Phylon, and Steinbach, who are probably might be a top three ish for me.
Yeah.
Those are the three I don't know.
Um, I'll say this, Coach. You're going to be doing a live tomorrow. I will be
Potentially.
live at definitely at 11 at the latest.
Yeah.
Um, or I will aim for 11. I don't think I'm going to wait for the entirety, but we'll see. Chris Haynes dropped another thing. Well, just go on, man. Tell us. Um, yeah. Um, but yeah, I think um, the reality is I will probably do something during the day because I'm assuming that Giannis will be traded in the middle of the night or something like that, something crazy. Um, so I will. I'm probably not going to do like a 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. thing. Um, let's see, man. What are you talking about? All I'm seeing from Chris Haynes is stuff with the big three, which I really don't care about. Sorry, guys. I don't care about the big three right now.
A lot of length of the Bulls might have next year. Claxton, Bucelis,
Yes,
Asenge, Wilson, Smith. Man, it's beyond says they need some ground provisions, but they're long.
they yes. Are you seeing anything in terms of this Giannis update
No,
that
no, I'm not.
Giovanni is talking about? Okay, yeah. Sorry, Gio. I'm not seeing this.
All I'm seeing here is that Shams report Giannis is currently out of the country, but he's coming back to the U.S. now.
He's got to pack his bags.
Mm. Gets a little cold in Boston.
It does. It does. Hey man, he's got to go. He's got to go. You know what? He's coming to Toronto first. He's got to see the World Cup. He's got to get a Canada Goose to prep for Boston.
Yep.
That's my prediction. Um, no doubt.
Hmm.
Well, Heat Central is not that's not Chris Haynes. But yeah, I believe that from what I've heard, they are in deep discussions. They're going all in, and I think that they're hard to beat. They are the team with the offer to beat. You need an OKC to like swoop in. What OKC does though is going to be very interesting. Folks, that's probably going to be one of the most interesting things of this draft is what OKC does. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, draft time's at 8. I'm gonna be going. Coach maybe doing a live, so I'll let
Yes.
him tweet that out or whatever. I appreciate the love, man. Shout out to you for. And also for myself, like I said, the second day I will be live for the entirety of the draft. So Wednesday, come to Basketball Rewind. Check out the let's watch the draft together. That's going to be the second round. However, I am going to be doing a wrap up of both days. It's just the first day I'm going to wrap it up probably at the very end, not during. So, guys, take care, enjoy, and uh, let's let's uh, let's have a good draft. Final thing, Gio says, I think OKC's going to take 12 and run it back. That's not going to be sufficient enough. You have a top 5 player in the NBA. You cannot waste it, especially since they have opted out of Lou Dort, and Lou Dort is going to be gone and stuff like that. They cannot just afford to just run it back. And especially with Topic getting another surgery, spine surgery, after having testicular cancer, after also having like a torn, like, I don't know, there's something. This man did something in another life that is coming back to or
I
something.
don't
I don't
know.
know.
I don't know. Was he Job or something? I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I don't know, man. It's rough go, man.
He is like the basketball version of Job. That's a good call, man.
man, I feel bad for him. Just what he's had to go through. He's just a young man too, in his early 20s or whatever.
Luckily for him, he at least has been drafted high enough to afford healthcare in America. So
Yeah, yeah, that's
so
true.
there is that. He's not gonna go
I'm rooting
bankrupt,
for
but
him, man.
not great.
That's rough. That's rough. So
Yeah, Topich for Grady. I'm good. That'd be a rough one. I don't think we need to trade for a guy who's literally like Bruck up.
yeah.
All right, folks. Take care and peace. Thanks, Coach, for joining. Like, comment, and subscribe. Cheers.